Let's talk about therapy. If you've never been to therapy, I would highly recommend it. Therapy has changed my life so many times, whether it's been a personal issue, like with a family member, or even an issue with somebody like at work. A therapist can help you talk through almost any issue you have. Look, you might be dealing with a breakup, or it could even just be the state of the world. There are so many things in our lives that can cause anxiety and stress and even depression. And telehealth has made mental health care more convenient and accessible for millions of people. However, critical challenges like finding a good therapist, scheduling that appointment, the expensive out of pocket costs still keep a lot of people from getting the care they need. Rula is on a mission to make high quality mental health care from a licensed professional easy and affordable for everyone. Rula's got you covered. They take most major insurance plans, and the average copay is only $15 a session. You can now get the quality you need when you need it at a price you can afford. Rula also sticks with you throughout the journey, so they make sure you get the best therapy and that you make progress. And with Rula, every provider is carefully vetted and chosen for their expertise. So you'll always know that you're in the hands of quality providers who are dedicated to making real progress in your care. The first step on your journey to mental well-being is easy. Rula starts by asking you a few questions, and you guys know how much I love a questionnaire. They ask you a question about what's important to you, like what are you looking for? And then they give you a list of licensed in-network providers who match your preferences. You can schedule your preferred time and meet with your therapist as soon as the next day in some cases. Also, most online therapy platforms focus on connecting clients with licensed therapists, but they also fall short when it comes to help with medication management. And some of us really need that aspect. Rula has a wide range of licensed professionals, including psychiatrists, who will help you get the care you need, including medication. Rula is the place to go for your mental health care, even if you're not sure exactly what you need. Thousands have already trusted Rula to support them on their journey toward improved mental health and overall well-being. Head on over to rula.com/pink shade to get started today. That's RULA.com/pink shade. And after you sign up, they'll say, "Where did you hear about us?" And please support our show and tell them we sent you. Again, that's rula.com, RULA.com/pink shade, and take the first step towards better mental health today. You deserve quality care from someone who cares. Hey everybody, welcome to Pink Shade. It is a Mugshot Monday. That's right. These are stickers available for you at the Pink Shade store.
That says Mugshot Monday in case you can't see it.
I know it's backwards when I look at it, but maybe when it comes across the screen, it's the right way. I don't know.
It's the right way. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't fit on my laptop, like my journalism sticker fits perfectly. Mugshot Monday does not. It's a little bit longer, but if anybody wants one, you can get one. Also, I gotta say, because Ingrid told me I need to say this to remind everybody that I'm on Cameo, and I think you're also on Cameo. Yes,
I am also on Cameo. Yes.
But I think you get a lot of requests. I've had 2. Nobody wants to hear from me.
I think I haven't had. I think I've had like 6 or 7.
Okay, well that's pretty good.
No. Not much, but I forget to, like you, I forget to like advertise it.
Forget to say it. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally forget about that.
I was hoping I was going to get some requests for like Valentine's Day so I could like give somebody a pep talk, but I got nothing.
I think we need to start pimping ourselves out a little bit more about that.
I know. God, listen, don't tell my husband or your husband we're on Cameo because then they'll start pimping us out as they do.
Who do you think put me on Cameo?
Right.
You know, it wasn't me. Yeah.
You guys, so the dogs were at the groomer for a very long time. And so now I've got this one. I have moved my ottoman to be close to me because she is
emotionally damaged.
She's emotionally damaged.
Yes.
And she came in here and jumped in my lap, which this dog is not a snuggly dog at all.
She felt abandoned.
My phone is ringing. Somebody's calling me from Batesville, Texas. Where the fuck is that?
I have no idea.
All right.
Batesville,
Texas. Area code 830.
Never heard of it.
Okay, well, I'm not talking to you, whoever you are. So we are here to talk about Love After Lockup Crime Story, Season 5, Episode 60. or episode 2, just depending.
Mm-hmm.
I actually was at Heather McDonald's comedy show this weekend and talked to a couple of bunkies, and I was like, "You guys, this show is really good." I was like, "It's a
Yeah.
very good."
It's a nice break.
It's a calming show. It's not so
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
So I think whenever Love After Lockup pops back up, we'll be all ready for the craziness.
We will, because we've had a lot of sadness on these episodes, I feel like.
Yeah, I think this was smart of Matt Sharp to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we go back to back to back from like Lalu, Lalu, Lalu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It gets to be too much, and sometimes we're not as entertained. I think this
Yeah.
allows us to still be entertained and miss the craziness. So when we get it back, it's like, oh yeah, bring it to me.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. It's a really good point.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Thank you. I like to hear those words from you. Yeah.
Thank you for validating me.
Yeah. So you guys, Keisha and I are deep into Love is Blind. And so now we're only speaking to each other in Love is Blind phrases.
Yes, we are. Yes.
Thank you. I like that.
I appreciate that you were thankful.
Yeah. And thank you for being great at communicating.
I like that for us.
Yeah. So have you been intimate yet? Because I'm dying to know.
I wasn't last night.
I'm just right in the middle of taking notes for episode 8. And this is, okay, episode 8 is when Dave goes around and starts asking every couple, man, woman, production, everybody, have you been intimate? Have you had sex yet? Like he's all up in everybody's business. That
seems more like the Dave I thought we knew before he got all emotional and started crying, dumping on us. You know,
right? Remember that one day he cried the whole day? Yeah.
He cried, dumped the whole entire day. So now I think we're starting to get back that. Why are you here, Dave?
Why? Oh, your hair's lovely.
Why are you here? Yeah.
So guys, if you love hearing Keisha and I together, and a lot of you do, Love is Blind is over on the $10 level of Pink Shade Prime. I do believe Ingrid is putting out episode 1 on the free feed just to give people a little taste.
Okay.
And the rest of them are over there on Pink Shade Prime. Maybe we'll drop in on episode 8 or something. Maybe she'll drop another one in just to give, get people interested. But we're enjoying covering it. We have a couple of full-on demon spawns over there. We're looking at you, Madison.
The devil was busy.
Yes.
He produced a lot of children here on Earth, and they're all on this season as Love is Blind.
And if any bunkies have sent me any inside scoop that are from that area, that also is over there on that $10 level. And I'll tell you before I say it, so you can fast forward or whatever if you don't want to hear it, don't want a spoiler. So
she's had some good ones. You've had some good ones this season. Yeah,
I've had some good inside scoop. So Ingrid is from Minnesota, and her daughter currently goes to the University of Minnesota, and we got some inside scoop from that angle. We've had a bunkie write in who knows a lot of these people, and
there's been some juicy stuff. Yeah, here for it.
Okay, let's see. So the dog was under my feet. Okay, there she is. She's under my feet, and I'm in a rolling chair, so don't let me roll over her.
That poor baby. Oh my gosh.
I did tell you that Ginger's on Prozac now, right?
Yes, you did.
It did. So they said it takes a few months to start working, but why
a few months?
I don't know. I was like, I don't feel like it's that long for people. I think it's a couple of weeks.
I don't think it is either. Why so long for a dog?
I don't know. They said a few months she would start to, be less anxious. But what it did do right away was give her the number one side effect. Within one day, she got the number one side effect, which is refusing to eat, lack of appetite.
Well, she already does that sometimes.
She already will sometimes only eat once a day and then really kind of under duress. And we were literally cutting up steak and putting it on top of her food, like anything to get her to eat it. So she really has eaten one full meal in the last 3 days.
Oh, see, that would be scaring me.
It scares me, but I called the doctor and they said it's very normal. Check back in a few days to see it because it should go back to normal. I'm like, her back to normal is barely eating anyway. She's got an eating disorder.
Yeah. She's got a lot of diagnoses going on.
She sure does.
If you wrote all of her stuff down, no one on earth would think you were talking about a dog.
No.
They would think you were talking about Madison from Love is Blind.
I know. Oh my gosh,
Poor
Violet.
baby.
Okay, Violet, you're okay. You're just her face is like right next to the wheel of this chair, which is making me so
She's
nervous.
scared.
I know. God. Okay, it's all right, Violet.
Mm.
Okay, so let's the minute Anna comes home though, by the way, she will lose her ever loving mind and I'll never see her again because this
She
dog
loves Anna. Yeah.
loves, obsessed with,
Mm-hmm.
hates when she
Mm-hmm.
sleeps with us, would much rather be in there with Anna. And she and Anna will
Yes.
face-to-face spoon all night long. They will.
Yeah. That's a real love connection there.
I'll go in the morning. I'm like, what's happening? Is flowers in the attic? Like you guys are like having a moment, the two of you. Yeah.
Remember your sisters.
Remember your sisters. We don't do that. No
Right.
inappropriate touching to your sister.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
All right, let's go Lalu crime story. I really am so happy we got to see Brittany because, Brittany, you guys, in case you don't know, and I explained this to somebody last night, that Brittany is the original reason we have the term bunkie on this show.
That's right.
Now, anybody that's been in prison or whatever, they know the term. Yeah, they call you sometimes your cellie, like your cellmate.
Right.
But bunkie is the same thing. And what originally happened on this show was Brittany's friend called her up. I think it was Sasha. I think. No, was Sasha the one that they got into the fist fight in the parking lot?
No, that was her name started with that's Amanda.
Okay.
Amanda.
So Sasha is the girl who was in prison with Brittany.
And she's the godmother of the little girl Zoya or whatever her name is. Remember she asked her to be our godmother, from the prison window she held up a sign? Zoila. Yeah. Okay.
And this girl is still in prison for double attempted murder or double murder, I think. I mean, I think she was in an apartment where two people were gang killed, murdered.
Oh yeah.
So she's not in prison for something minor. But Brittany went to her retrial and stuff, if we remember, in her sentencing.
Yeah.
But originally Sasha called her and was like, "Hey, Bunky." And that's when Aaron and I were podcasting together and we were like, that's it. That's from now on, we're only going to say to each other, "Hey, Bunky." And we created a podcast called Hey, Bunky.
Hey, Bunky.
And it was a Patreon only podcast. And from that, it spun off into me being full-time on Pink Shade. But the whole point is every time we see Brittany, we have to give her flowers and thank her for getting us, because the listeners are called Bunkies. And that's why.
Yep.
Okay.
There you go.
You got that, Violet? Good. Okay. So Brittany Santiago. So she still has Marcelino's last name because
she's got all of his babies, so she might as well keep it.
Yeah. So she's got Giovanni, who I believe Marcelino officially adopted. I don't remember if he did.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Because Giovanni had a real crackhead dad. Remember?
But his dad had him while Brittany was in prison.
But then I think after Brittany got out of prison, I think dad went back to prison.
He went back.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't see that dad signing over rights to his kid though.
That's true. Yeah. I think he didn't have any rights to see the kid for sure.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I think all that happened. Okay. So, sorry, girl. Let's talk about therapy. If you've never been to therapy, I would highly recommend it. Therapy has changed my life so many times, whether it's been a personal issue, like with a family member, or even an issue with somebody at work. A therapist can help you talk through almost any issue you have. Look, you might be dealing with a breakup, or it could even just be the state of the world. There are so many things in our lives that can cause anxiety and stress and even depression. And telehealth has made mental health care more convenient and accessible for millions of people. However, critical challenges like finding a good therapist, scheduling that appointment, the expensive out-of-pocket costs still keep a lot of people from getting the care they need. Rula is on a mission to make high-quality mental health care from a licensed professional easy and affordable for everyone. Rula's got you covered. They take most major insurance plans, and the average copay is only $15 a session. You can now get the quality you need when you need it at a price you can afford. Rula also sticks with you throughout the journey, so they make sure you get the best therapy and that you make progress. And with Rula, every provider provider is carefully vetted and chosen for their expertise. So you'll always know that you're in the hands of quality providers who are dedicated to making real progress in your care. The first step on your journey to mental well-being is easy. Rula starts by asking you a few questions, and you guys know how much I love a questionnaire. They ask you a question about what's important to you, like what are you looking for? And then they give you a list of licensed in-network providers who match your preferences. You can schedule your preferred time and meet with your therapist as soon as the next day in some cases. Also, most online therapy platforms focus on connecting clients with licensed therapists, but they also fall short when it comes to help with medication management. And some of us really need that aspect. Rula has a wide range of licensed professionals, including psychiatrists, who will help you get the care you need, including medication. Rula is the place to go for your mental health care, even if you're not sure exactly what you need. Thousands have already trusted Rula to support them on their journey toward improved mental health and overall well-being. Head on over to rula.com/pink shade to get started today. That's RULA.com/pink shade. And after you sign up, they'll say, "Where did you hear about us?" And please support our show and tell them we sent you. Again, that's rula.com, RULA.com/pink shade, and take the first step towards better mental health today. You deserve quality care from someone who cares. Today's podcast is sponsored by Ro. Do you want the fastest working GLP-1s for half the list price? Yes, Ro has got you. Ro is now offering FDA-approved weight loss vials for half the list price of those auto-injector pens without implying the insurance or the saving cards. Oh, that is such a nightmare, you guys. I've been doing the GLP-1s for about 2 years, and I really wish I would have started with Ro because you don't have to deal with all those insurance cards, all that, going to the doctor's office, all that stuff. It is so much easier. And if you're prescribed the GLP-1s, you will lose 15% of your weight on average in a year. The formula from Eli Lilly hits not one, but two hormones to curb hunger and less nausea. That's super important too. If you're prone to nausea like I am, this putting the hormones in that curb the hunger and the nausea is key, in my opinion. Ro is weight loss faster, confidence higher, and price cheaper, which to me is a win-win-win. You can join the over 385,000 people who have already chosen Ro to access their GLP-1s. So you can go to ro.co/pinkshade to see if you qualify. That's ro.co/pinkshade to see if you qualify. Go to ro.co/safety for boxed warning and full safety information about GLP-1 medications. 15% weight loss is based on a study in non-diabetics with obesity or with overweight people with a weight-related conditions on 5 milligrams of medication and when paired with diet and exercise. Half the list price when compared to auto-injector pens and when paying cash without applying insurance or saving cards. Go to ro.co/pinkshade to see if you qualified. That's ro.co/pinkshade to see if you qualify. All right, you guys know I have been on quite a journey with my sad little eyelashes, okay? I need mascara in my life every single day to make me look decent. I've got to be on this camera. Sometimes I've just got to run to the grocery store, and if I don't put on my mascara, I look like I'm ill. And people are going to stop me and wonder if something's wrong with me. Now, you've probably seen Thrive Cosmetics viral tubing mascara. You know, it's the one in the turquoise tube that you see all over your socials. And I've seen it and I've always wanted to try it. Well, they sent me some. Oh my gosh, does it work? It is incredible, you guys. Their formula creates tubes around each eyelash. And then when you're trying to take it off, you literally just get it off with warm water. So you're washing your face, it just comes off. You don't have to add an extra step to try to wipe it off your eyes and then pull half your eyelashes out in the process. I mean, maybe that's just me. But Thrive Cosmetics beauty products are certified 100% vegan and cruelty-free, which I love. They are made with clean, skin-loving ingredients, high performance and trademark formulas, and uncompromising standards. You guys, you can see why their cosmetics get thousands of 5-star reviews, okay? You guys have got to try this liquid lash extensions mascara. This is my new obsession. I will post about it on my Instagram so you guys can see the before and after of my eyelashes. It is incredible. It lasts all day, no clumping, smudging, flaking, comes right off with warm water. It looks like you went and got fancy extensions, but you don't have to, and you don't have to spend that money. And it has a flake-free tubing formula. I don't even know what that means. It just looks great. So right now, you can go to Thrive Cosmetics. Thrive Cosmetics is luxury beauty that gives back. You can get 20% off your first order at thrivecosmetics.com/pinkshade. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/pinkshade for 20% off your first order. Try this mascara and send me a picture and show me what you look like. You're going to love it. So, Brittany. So Brittany tells us she was born in Fresno, California, but moved to Alaska when she was like 3 months old. She had 4 sisters. So there's 5 girls total. She says their names. I can't remember.
That's a lot of girls in the house.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, that's 4 too many.
She was taken away from her biological dad. Now, when she first said that, I was like, ooh, like the courts took her away. No, like meaning like her mom said he's not fit to be a parent and took the kids away. Now we've met
Which is funny because we've met her mom.
Like she would be a fit anything.
Yeah.
So we met her stepdad. I think his name was Gil. I could be making that up, but I felt like his name was Gil.
Yeah.
Yeah. We met him, like he came to the wedding and we saw him a couple of other times. Like when they went to Alaska.
Yeah, he turned good.
He turned his life around. And, mom is still struggling. I don't know how she's doing now, but last time we heard the mom was doing
She was okay.
Yeah.
But remember when she like got burned real bad? Like we saw her one season, the next season, like I can't remember what it was, but she was like burned.
The house, she had a house fire.
A house fire, is that what it was?
Yeah, she either got drunk or was on drugs and like burned her house down. And that was in Alaska.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
I think it was because she was drunk or doing drugs. I think right.
Yeah, it was. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. The mom and the stepdad were on drugs and heavily drinking when they were in Alaska. Gil, here, I wrote it down. Gil decided they should leave Alaska, and this is when she was around 12, and move to Las Vegas.
So, because moving to Las Vegas is so much better than living in Alaska if you're trying to get away from the fast life.
It seems to be going the
opposite. Yeah.
So by the time she was 12, she was living with her, mom and stepdad and the sisters in a hotel on Fremont Street. Okay. Now, a couple things about Fremont Street. Last time I was in Vegas, Ingrid and not last time, but anyway, when I was there for BravoCon. So John Hill had a show and Amy Phillips had a show, both at this little venue that was in this big complex on Fremont Street, right? It's got like that zip line and it's like the Golden Nugget. Yes. And then you keep walking through that complex and there was like an upstairs theater and that's where the show was. So we went there twice. I was like, this is disgusting. I never want to come back to this area of Vegas. I was like, literally like food, syringes, beer cans, just like on the ground. The mood was bad. The mood was bad.
It's dirty.
It's gross.
And it's also nothing for you to be on Fremont Street at 2 a.m. and you see like kids walking there with their parents. They're just up walking around. Yeah.
Awful. Yeah. So, another thing about Fremont Street is there was a season with Marcelino and Brittany where they were looking for her mom and they had to go to Fremont Street to look for her mom. And that is when Marcelino coined the term Kung Fu crackhead. Do you remember when he said that?
Yeah.
Because there was a guy with there was a guy behind the car and Marcelino goes, I'm out here doing this. We got a Kung Fu crackhead behind us. And funny.
That's back when we all loved Marcelino.
I know. And we didn't like him.
Yeah.
And then we loved him.
Then we loved him.
And then we didn't like him.
And then we absolutely hated him.
Absolutely hated him. So, and we're still on that. Okay. So, her parents were at their lowest. They were stealing from their children. We get the reminder of the story of her collecting like the 50 state quarters and how Marcelino gave that to her when she got out because her parents stole it from her when she was little. It was very sweet.
That's so bad.
It's so bad to steal your kid's coin collection.
That is when you have hit rock bottom.
Because I don't know how many 50 quarters equals, but it's like a few dollars. It's not a lot, right?
But you're so desperate for it, you steal it from your fucking kid. Like, go out on Fremont Street and just pick up nickels and dimes.
Right.
Stealing it from your kid.
awful. So we get that backstory. And she says she felt completely hopeless. And even though she wanted to take care of her siblings, she just had to run away. So she did. She was 12. 12. Okay.
I don't even know if I would know my way back home from if I went somewhere at 12 years old.
No, it better just be up and down Fremont Street because I would
not know where to go. Just the thought of even being outside at nighttime without my mom at 12 years old is just insane to me.
It is insane.
That's crazy.
Yes. So she meets up with her sister, Kayla, and she's like, Kayla doesn't really know everything, here. You know what? I have a whole slideshow that I completely forgot about. All right. Hold on, please. Let me just upload that. Girl, I'm sitting here going, now why did Kayla's name sound familiar? Oh, yeah, because she's on my slideshow.
And so it's clear that the theme is here as each person is telling their story. They have someone in their life who they are telling the story to.
Yes.
Or going through the story with. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I got my slides. Okay. So she meets up with Kayla. Now, I feel like Kayla is one of their sisters are also beautiful in different ways. I definitely feel like Kayla we've seen before.
I feel like we did because I think she's the youngest sister.
Okay.
And I want to say, didn't she live with Brittany and Marcelino for a short period of time?
I feel like
she would keep the kids or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Brittany says, Kayla has no idea how bad I had it on the streets, probably because like their age difference was so huge.
Yeah.
And Brittany tells Kayla, I left because I felt unwanted and unloved. I thought nobody would notice if I was gone. I mean, she was just, it's just so sad.
Lisa Barlow. This is a Lisa Barlow moment right there. I could have been trafficked and no one would have noticed that I was gone. I was left at Burger King in the ball pit and everyone left and no one noticed that I was gone.
Oh my gosh. I don't have a picture of Kayla, but I have a really good slide coming up. Okay. So she tells her sister Kayla a story about meeting up with some girl in the street, just some girl. They got drunk and she passed out at this girl's apartment and she woke up and told the girl she wanted to leave to go back home. It's really sad. She's 12. Yeah. And she says, I want to go back home. And the girl said, you know what? Instead of that, here's some meth.
Because that makes so much sense there.
You'll feel better if you just have this meth. Right. So she gives her the meth to make her feel better. And Brittany says, now at this point, her body is addicted to the drugs and she's living on the street. So we see a timeline. Born in 1990, 2002, moved to Vegas, drug dealing, meet Chilongo, meet Jeremy, all this in 2002, and then 2003 FBI raid. So from 2002, when she moved to Vegas, in 1 year, she's drug dealing, she's addicted, meets two different older men, and then in 2003 is the FBI raid. Okay.
I just can't get past the woman, her saying, I want to go home. Here, take some meth. What about, here's a bowl of ice cream, child, so you'll feel better. Do you want some candy, little girl, so you can feel better? You just go straight to fucking meth.
It's awful.
Like, who is this person?
So Chilongo was a big drug dealer that she met, and he took her to the trap house. He taught her how to cook crack and sell drugs. And Brittany says, a lot happened in my life from 12 to 18. And I didn't want to do bad things, but I would do anything to get high. Now we see a list of her crimes: burglary, receiving or transferring stolen vehicles, 12 years old. Conspiracy to commit a crime, conspiracy to commit robbery, robbery with use of a deadly weapon, 12 years old. Conspiracy to configure crime, more burglary, more receiving of stolen goods and transferring stolen vehicles. Okay. Now, Ray Johnson is a guy with the FBI, and he says, Las Vegas is the entertainment capital of the world. And when people come here, they let their hair down, and then they become very open to crime, meaning like anybody can come up and steal your shit because you're like drunk and walking around. And
it happens a lot.
It happens a lot.
Yeah.
So Brittany says after time went on, Chilongo would hold back the drugs from her. So she and another girl that, lived there and worked at the crack house or whatever, were like, we're sick of his shit. So we took all of his stuff and we went to a hotel and paid the manager in dope. Kayla's like, you paid off the manager? And she's like, in dope.
Well, and not just that, it's a 12-year-old.
Right.
Paying a manager in drugs for a motel room.
So she could go in that hotel and sell drugs.
To sell drugs. At that point, I don't think he gave a fuck what she was in there selling.
No, no, no. So the two girls
Ugh.
start selling the drugs out of the hotel room, and one of Chalongo's regulars called
Mm-hmm.
him and was like, "Hey, since your girls are already here, can I just buy
Mm.
from them?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, yeah. Tell me exactly where they are." He didn't know.
Okay, I want to see a picture of Chalongo because I've never met a Chalongo before in my life, and I have to know what a person named Chalongo looks like. I have a lot of questions about this.
Yeah,
Chalongo.
Chilongo. I wrote
Chalongo.
down Chilongo, and I think that's what they said on the timeline.
Like,
Um,
I gotta find this guy. I
so
need to know how he looks.
Chilongo finds them. And she got punched. You know, she says, all I saw was a fist coming at me. I hit the floor. He took us back to the house, and I waited for him to go to sleep. And I climbed out of a bedroom window, and I went right back to Fremont Street. And that's where she
For,
met Jeremy.
for
She's still,
Fremont Street to be your safe place, you've got to have a really fucked up life.
she's still 12. She's still
Yeah.
12. Okay. So Jeremy is 29 or 30. She's unsure. She's 12. By the way, it wouldn't make it better if he was 18. It wouldn't make it better if
No,
he
this is
was.
a 12-year-old.
She's 12.
I
That's
don't
what
think I
Kayla
had
kept
even
saying.
yeah, I don't think at 12 I had even gone to the movies without my mom. I'm like sitting here
No.
going through my Rolodex of things that I did not know and did not do when I was 12 years old.
Yeah, it is wild. And I think like 12 is the age where you're like, okay, I can let the kids stay home for like 1 hour by themselves. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we'll test out letting you be at home alone. I'm going to go to the store and come back. And if the house is still standing, then maybe we'll try it. Yeah.
I can remember being 12 and being out of school. No, mom being like on a school break and my mom had to work and I had a babysitter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because she didn't want me home by myself all day long because, I don't know, I was 12.
Mm-hmm.
It just
Brittany's out here selling dope, slinging dope, and stealing cars,
yeah.
apparently. So she sneaks out. She goes back to Fremont Street. She meets Jeremy. He's around 30. And she says, and because of his age, I felt safe. And she goes, that's kind of sick, huh? Like as an adult and a mother now, she's like, can you fucking believe this?
Yeah.
So she shows Kayla the hotel where they lived. And she's like, everything was in this room. He was the security guard at the hotel. So he had a free room. Right. And Jeremy said one day, do you trust me? And she said, yes. And he took her virginity. And so she's 12, 13 at this time. And Kayla says, did you realize that you were like kidnapped and stuck here?
Because that's what it is.
Yeah. And
yeah.
She's like, I don't know. I thought he loved me.
That's then so sad.
It is, the whole thing is so sad.
It really, really is.
So she tells the story about the FBI coming to the door, and Jeremy's like, dump the dope, dump the dope. So she's down in the bathroom, like flushing all the stuff. The FBI busted the door down. He was handcuffed. And the FBI didn't believe what her name was. They kept asking her name. She's like, Brittany died, Brittany died. And they didn't believe her. Now they could look her up and see she's 12, 13. They thought she was a missing girl from Florida. Okay. So that's like initially why the police got called, the FBI got called.
Right. It had nothing to do with the drugs.
Now we see a little stat at the bottom of the screens. It says over 8,000 children are reported missing in Las Vegas per year.
Not Brittany. She wasn't reported missing.
8,000 children in Las Vegas.
That's crazy.
That's one city. It's not the whole state. 8,000?
I know.
I don't know what the national stat is, but that seems real high.
I feel like, not trying to be funny, but if you have a missing child, check Las Vegas because that's insane. That's a crazy number right there.
So they took her, the FBI takes her, take her to a place for runaway teens. And as soon as she got there, she ran. And
here's the thing. Once they realized that she wasn't the girl from Florida, they almost didn't give a fuck about her.
No.
Like she would have done better off being the girl from Florida than just, you know what I mean? Like that.
She
was
missing.
Failed. Yeah, she was failed.
She was trying to get back to Jeremy. And Kayla says a lot of people failed her that night. She was held hostage by her addiction and Jeremy. And like she's in FBI custody and is able to leave, you know?
Yeah.
So Phil, this other cop that we met earlier, says these kids are missing love and attention from their homes and they find it on the streets. It's just tale as old as time, right? So when they got back to the hotel, Jeremy says, because she's a minor, the management said, if they see you on the property, they're going to call the police. So for 1 year, she never left that room.
That is crazy. I would lose my fucking mind. Like
crazy.
No wonder why she's so pale. She went a whole year without any fucking sunlight. Poor thing, bless her heart. Like, can you imagine like what he was feeding her? Like it was probably chicken nuggets every single fucking night.
It was just disgusting.
It's just bad. Yeah.
And it was just fast food. And then obviously probably the place never got cleaned unless she was just cleaning it because she was bored.
Because he could have let housekeeping in there because they would discover she was in there.
So I guess he would just swing by housekeeping and pick up some sheets. I don't know. I mean, these are drug addicts, so I don't know if they're worried about the sheets, but the whole thing is tragic.
Gross. Yeah.
So finally somebody told management that she was still there. He got fired. They gave him 1 day to get out of there or they would call the police. They should have not told him jack shit and just called the police.
Yeah. Again, another fail by the adults.
Not warning him, So we see the clip about her telling her mom about living in that park, right? And she's telling her mom that she and Jeremy lived in this park. And she says, I was really hoping every day one of my parents would come and rescue me.
And I don't even think they were thinking about her. They didn't report her missing.
So she and Jeremy are staying in this park. And this is when she found out she was pregnant. She's 15 at this time. She found out she's pregnant. So she made the decision and stopped doing drugs. And he just laid around in the park and smoked dope all day. So she was 15 and pregnant with her son, had her son, and immediately got pregnant after that with a daughter. So she's 15.
So no one at the hospital clocked that this is a underage child?
Having a baby with a 32-year-old man? Yeah.
Yeah. Girl, again, Las Vegas is horrible.
Okay. Anna's home. Sorry about that. So
she's like, my grandmother's here.
My brother, that's what Anna's like, nobody can tell me I didn't birth this child. I was like, get out of here. Today's podcast is sponsored by Ro. Do you want the fastest working GLP-1s for half the list price? Yes, Ro has got you. Ro is now offering FDA-approved weight loss vials for half the list price of those auto-injector pens without implying the insurance or the saving cards. Oh, that is such a nightmare, you guys. I've been doing the GLP-1s for about 2 years, and I really wish I would have started with Ro because you don't have to deal with all those insurance cards, all that, going to the doctor's office, all that stuff. It is so much easier. And if you're prescribed the GLP-1s, you will lose 15% of your weight on average in a year. The formula from Eli Lilly hits not one, but 2 hormones to curb hunger and less nausea. That's super important too. If you're prone to nausea like I am, this putting the hormones in that curb the hunger and the nausea is key, in my opinion. Ro is weight loss faster, confidence higher, and price cheaper, which to me is win-win-win. You can join the over 385,000 people who have already chosen Ro to access their GLP-1s. So you can go to ro.co/pinkshade to see if you qualify. That's ro.co/pinkshade to see if you qualify. Go to ro.co/safety for boxed warning and full safety information about GLP-1 medications. 15% weight loss is based on a study in non-diabetics with obesity or with overweight people with weight-related conditions on 5 milligrams of medication and when paired with diet and exercise. Half the list price when compared to auto-injector pens and when paying cash without applying insurance or saving cards. Go to ro.co/pinkshade to see if you qualified. That's ro.co/pinkshade to see if you qualify. All right, you guys know I have been on quite a journey with my sad little eyelashes, okay? I need mascara in my life every single day to make me look decent. I've got to be on this camera. Sometimes I've just got to run to the grocery store, and if I don't put on my mascara, I look like I'm ill. And people are going to stop me and wonder if something's wrong with me. Now, you've probably seen Thrive Cosmetics viral tubing mascara. You know, it's the one in the turquoise tube that you see all over your socials. And I've seen it and I've always wanted to try it. Well, they sent me some. Oh my gosh, does it work? It is incredible, you guys. Their formula creates tubes tubes around each eyelash. And then when you're trying to take it off, you literally just get it off with warm water. So you're washing your face, it just comes off. You don't have to add an extra step to try to wipe it off your eyes and then pull half your eyelashes out in the process. I mean, maybe that's just me. But Thrive Cosmetics beauty products are certified 100% vegan and cruelty-free, which I love. They are made with clean, skin-loving ingredients, high performance and trademark formulas, and uncompromising standards. You guys, you can see why their cosmetics get thousands of 5-star reviews, okay? You guys have got to try this liquid lash extensions mascara. This is my new obsession. I will post about it on my Instagram so you guys can see the before and after of my eyelashes. It is incredible. It lasts all day, no clumping, smudging, flaking, comes right off with warm water. It looks like you went and got fancy extensions, but you don't have to, and you don't have to spend that money. And it has a flake-free tubing formula. I don't even know what that means. It just looks great. So right now, you can go to Thrive Cosmetics. Thrive Cosmetics is luxury beauty that gives back. You can get 20% off your first order at thrivecosmetics.com/pinkshade. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/pinkshade for 20% off your first order. Try this mascara and send me a picture and show me what you look like. You're going to love it. Okay, so now let's talk about all the people that have failed Brittany. Okay.
Oh God. Starting with her mom.
Starting with her parents. Nobody said she was missing. That's number one. Then we've got an FBI.
The whole FBI.
FBI lets her go. Then the hotel doesn't call the police to report her there. Then she gives birth to 2 children underage in the hospital and nobody does anything about it.
Not a thing. That's insane.
It's insane.
She fell completely through the cracks.
It's awful. So we see another timeline. 2003 FBI raid, 2006 first child born, 2007 second child born, 2008 Child Protective Services removes her children. 2008 she meets Alfred, and then 2009 is her first arrest. So she gets the courage to leave Jeremy, and she called her mother. Now her mother has not seen her in 3 years. She's 15, comes home with 2 children.
2 kids. I was confused because she said she called her mom. But what year is that? What year is that?
When she left Jeremy, it was in 2007.
Okay, because I was confused because she said I called my mom. My mom lived in a whole different place, and I'm like, well, were you able to call her? But I guess her cell phone. She had the same cell phone number.
I guess so. Maybe her mom had a job. Right. I don't know. So she got the courage
at one of those hotels that Brittany was held up at.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I thought I saw you in the hall. So
right.
Not that there's halls, they're all motels. So things were good there with her mom and the 2 kids and everything until they weren't. And her mom was super deep in her addiction. No one was taking care of her sisters. And eventually, because of the stress of it, now she's got 2 kids and she's also trying to take care of her sisters. Brittany, relapsed. Now she's at this point 16. So she relapses. Her stepdad was so upset. Gil was so upset that she was relapsing that he called Child Protective Services on her, and they took the kids, and she never saw them again.
Okay, so I feel a couple of different ways about that.
Okay.
I feel that was probably the best thing for the kids.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't necessarily like the way that it went about. You know what on the flip side, I'm sure this poor man doesn't know what the fuck to do.
And we don't know if he's still in addiction at this point or not.
I feel like he was not.
And I just want to say, Child Protective Services comes in to take 2 kids away from a 15-year-old who's also a child.
And then there's kids underneath her as well.
So why can't Child Protective Services help all of them?
All of them.
Another fail.
You know why? Because I'm thinking about the whole adoption thing. It is way easier for someone to adopt the littles instead of these teenage girls. And CPS is like, where we're going to put them. They would have just fallen through the cracks, even if CPS had taken them away. That's what I feel.
She's got it's a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old. These kids.
Yeah.
They're 2 and 1. Okay. And she says, I never saw the kids again. And She said, I blamed my dad and my mom, and it ripped my heart out. It ripped my heart out of my body. And then we see in 2019, when she was trying to find them. So in 2019, those kids born in 6 and 7, 19 minus 6 is 13. So these kids are.
Okay, mathing over there. I see you mathing.
Thank you. So these kids are 12 and 13 in 2019. Okay. So if you're 12 and 13 in 2019.
Oh shit, here we go.
And now it's 2025. We're going to add 6 years. So the oldest kid is turning 18. Nope. Yep.
She's writing this down, guys.
I'm writing it down. So those kids are now going to be 18 and 19. So technically,
wow,
she can find them now.
Find them.
But they have to find her. They have to reach out to find her. I hope they do. Oh my God.
I do too.
Yeah. Because they could just see how good she's doing,
Yep. So
she says, I just told myself, like, if I can't get my kids, I'm going to devote my life to getting high. That's it. I have nothing to live for. She didn't care, So at 17, she left home, was living on the streets again, getting high, committing petty crimes. So one night she was being chased by security. She saw a truck and jumped in, and this was Alfred. And Alfred said, you can come stay at my house.
Oh my God.
So now we meet a prison friend, Ty, who has a terrible lip piercing.
Ty was kind of horrible. Like, she didn't seem that much like a friend.
No, and it's interesting too, because you wonder if like Ty is, also is sober. Although they were doing shots, so I mean, sober is a movable target here, but meaning not on drugs,
Right.
So she meets up with Ty, and she says she actually knew her from the streets, and they were in prison together. So Ty comes to see her, and the terrible lip piercing, and she tells Ty, she said, I guess you didn't know that, like, with all the stuff with Alfred, I was 17, he was 56.
Oh, men are so dirty.
I'm 56. This would be like me getting with a 17-year-old boy.
Okay, cougar.
Gross.
Disgusting. And also illegal.
Again. So she says, of course, there was a void missing in her, the absence of a father, and she needed validation from someone older. She knows it makes no sense, but somehow it made her feel secure. And Alfred would give her rides and hundreds of dollars for drugs, and he knew how old she was. So one day she wanted to get a tattoo. So she goes to the tattoo guy, and she gets a tattoo and drugs from this tattoo guy, but she didn't have any money for the tattoo or the drugs. So she asked tattoo guy for a ride back to Alfred's house, and she would go in and get the money from Alfred. So I guess Alfred's giving her like money, a place to live, and would drive her around in exchange for sex, is what, obviously, to me. So she asked tattoo guy and his friends, like, sit in the car. I'm going to go get the money from Alfred, and I'll come right back out. Now, these are thugs, and they're like, sure, you're coming back, right?
Not just thugs, Las Vegas thugs.
Yeah.
That's different.
So she says she walked in the house smoking, and Alfred got all mad, like, where have you been? Don't smoke in my house. So she went out to the back porch to smoke, and she saw tattoo guy and his friends jump over the fence. And she's like, wait, what are you doing? I'm going to bring you the money. I'm just smoking a cigarette. And they come in, the sliding glass door. She explains it. So, and Alfred's coming out to see what the commotion's about.
Right.
And they beat the shit out of Alfred so bad. She said his eyeball was hanging out.
Oh my God.
Literally had dreams about it last night.
I bet you did. I bet you did.
I couldn't get it out of my head. And Alfred thought she set him up, and her first thought was like, I should run. So she goes in the garage, takes his car, and left, and all she could hear was him yelling, like, Brittany, come and help me. Brittany, please help me. And she's like, everything he did for me, which of course, again, he's 56 or 17, so he wasn't that good guy, but she didn't help him when he had helped her, whatever. I mean, he also was totally taking advantage of a 17-year-old.
Now, do you think, because I was on the Reddit, and someone said,
I love when you go on the Reddit.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know. Someone thinks that she totally did try to set him up. What do you think?
But what is she setting him up for? The guys are going to go in and steal all the money and they give her some?
And I think things went a little bit
south,
worse than what she thought. Like they really were beating the shit out of him.
Like really. And she didn't know if he was. She said more than once she didn't know if he was dead.
Yeah. So I don't know. That was just something to think about there.
So she's telling Ty, and Ty goes, "Wait, so you didn't even know if he was dead or alive?" And she goes, "No." And I went over to my friend's house, and they ratted me out to the police, and I was arrested. Okay, we see her mugshot. I'm going to show it now. This looks like a 13-year-old baby.
It does. Yeah, it does.
Look how young she is. She's 17 and has given birth to 2 children and has been on drugs for 5 years. She's 17.
Not to change the subject, but I never noticed how big her ears are until this mugshot picture.
Oh. Yeah,
she's just big. Or maybe she's just so small.
I think she's so tiny. Yeah.
Jeez.
Okay. So if you're watching on video, guys, I was showing the mugshot. Okay. And she says, I didn't know if he was dead or alive. I was completely haunted by the situation. It was the worst night of my life. So because she had turned 18, she was charged with kidnapping, false imprisonment, assault to create great bodily injury, because she was a part of it, they thought, grand theft auto, and attempted murder. She says attempted murder, but it doesn't say it on that sheet. She served 5 years. Okay. She found out during the court case that she wasn't allowed to have any contact with Alfred, so at least she knew he had survived.
Was alive, right?
Okay. So she and Ty go and stand outside and look at the prison. And she says in her first year in prison, she got in 11 fights. She just didn't want anybody to fuck with her. And Ty was like, "You were like a little baby. You were like, and look at her. She looks like a little baby."
Yeah, she was little. Yeah.
So Ty said she was only 4 years older than Brittany. So if Brittany's 18, Ty's 22.
Girl, you are on your math shit today. I tell you what, I think you could teach an algebra class. I really do. You are all about it today. Yep. Mathematician over here.
I did have to write down 12 plus 6 and 13 plus 6 earlier.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't, but you got the answers right. That's all that really matters in math, is that you got the answer right.
Right. Yeah. So Ty was like, "Yeah, Brittany, you were a total hothead in prison. You just turned 18. You're out here kicking ass left and right." So Brittany says, "I had to grow up in prison. I had to become a young adult in prison." And she went to NA, she went to AA, she went to any meeting, anything that could help her. She served those 5 years. So 18 plus 5.
Okay, here we go.
She gets out when she's 23. And she says, and no one, anybody that knew her, including Ty, herself, anybody, no one ever thought she'd go back to prison, because she had totally cleaned herself up and gotten herself all the way together. But when she gets out in 2011, she has nothing to come home to. Her kids had been given up for adoption. She only knew the street life. So she gets pregnant with Giovanni in 2014, and we don't get any information about whatever that guy's name was. What was his name?
G.
But what is it? His name was literally it stood for something. It was
I thought it was Giovanni.
You think the dad was also Giovanni?
I feel like it was.
I really thought his name was Versace or something, but maybe I'm getting a Giovanni from Versace, because Giovanni Versace was Versace.
But why would they call him G if his name were Versace?
No, I think in my mind, I thought his name was Versace, but now I'm realizing it's because Giovanni Versace was Versace's actual name. Yeah.
Got you. Yes.
I'm just trying to put the thread together in my mind. My mind has been so taken up by my math.
Yeah, just stick to the math.
So now she's got little sweet baby Gio. And when he was 2, she relapsed and was back on the street selling drugs. Okay. So that's 2016. So we see another timeline. 2011, she gets released. 2016, she meets G and arrested. In 2018, she's released, which is what we saw on the show.
Right.
So she goes to a hotel. She and Ty go to this hotel, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so triggered, by being at this hotel." She says, "I was 25 selling drugs. I was just such a loser." And we see a picture of her in a backyard,
Yeah.
She met G. She was running the streets. And then one night she went with G to do a drug run, and G and some guy got into an argument at this hotel, and they pull out their guns, and G shoots this guy in the back. And she says, once again, I ran.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, I'm a mother and I didn't want to die. I didn't want to be involved in this. And she says there was like blood everywhere.
Mm.
So she obviously went to somebody's house who ratted her out
Again.
and she got arrested again. And she was so lucky that that guy lived, or it would have been like a murder charge.
Murder charge, yeah.
So she was facing it this time over 20 years. She says, I was back in jail fighting another attempted murder charge. I took a plea deal to make it less time. I wanted to just go to prison and get out so I could start my life again, for the third time.
But she also said she was the only person that got arrested.
Isn't that crazy? Of
How?
all those people.
I don't get it.
G must have been arrested for the shooting, but the other people in the room were not arrested. She was just in the room like the other people, and they were all like drug dealers.
But you have to remember, when she was in prison, G was out of prison because that's who had Giovanni.
Right.
Mystery up here.
It's a mystery that somebody could tell us because they saw it on Reddit, and we appreciate you in advance.
Yes, we do.
So she went back to prison at 25. She got out at 27. So now little baby Giovanni, I guess, is 4 or 5 when she and Marcelino got him back. Today's podcast is sponsored by Ro. Do you want the fastest working GLP-1s for half the list price? Yes, Ro has got you. Ro is now offering FDA-approved weight loss vials for half the list price of those auto-injector pens without implying the insurance or the saving cards. Oh, that is such a nightmare, you guys. I've been doing the GLP-1s for about 2 years, and I really wish I would have started with Ro because you don't have to deal with all those insurance cards, all that, going to the doctor's office, all that stuff. It is so much easier. And if you're prescribed the GLP-1s, you will lose 15% of your weight on average in a year. The formula from Eli Lilly hits not 1, but 2 hormones to curb hunger and less nausea. That's super important too. If you're prone to nausea like I am, this putting the hormones in that curb the hunger and the nausea is key, in my opinion. Ro is weight loss faster, confidence higher, and price cheaper, which to me is win-win-win. You can join the over 385,000 people who have already chosen Ro to access their GLP-1s. So you can go to ro.co/pinkshade to see if you qualify. That's ro.co/pinkshade to see if you qualify. Go to ro.co/safety for boxed warning and full safety information about GLP-1 medications. 15% weight loss is based on a study in non-diabetics with obesity or with overweight people with weight-related conditions on 5 milligrams of medication and when paired with diet and exercise. Half the list price when compared to auto-injector pens and when paying cash without applying insurance or saving cards. Go to ro.co/pinkshade to see if you qualified. That's ro.co/pinkshade to see if you qualify. So we see her release to Marcelino and all that. And she says from age 12 to 27, she was addicted to drugs, homeless, and in prison. And I guess they asked her, like, would you ever go back? And she said, fuck no. She said, you will never catch me doing any of that shit again. I know better now. I know how to stop and think things through. And she thanks Ty for coming with her. It's been 7 years since her release. And she has been in no trouble. And she says, I just want to live a long and peaceful life. And we see her and the kids, the 3 kids at the beach. I'm like, oh, Lord, please put a lot of sunscreen on that baby. That baby.
Yeah.
That Giovanni is white.
Light. Yes, he is. Very, very. Yeah.
So they're at the beach. And she says, and I know the hardest thing for an inmate coming out of prison is to get successfully acclimated. I mean, she should just be like beyond like proud of herself. I mean,
Yeah.
Beyond.
And here's the thing. Is she kind of owes some of it to Marcelino because he provided that straight up stability as soon as she got out, because if it weren't for him, where would she have gone?
Yeah. And when they were having all that fight and saying he was cheating, all that, I was like, this is so fake, but it wasn't. They really did break up.
All I know is
they're not breaking up. Totally.
All I know is she beat the snot of her fucking friend. Like, she beat her ass. Like, she beat her ass when her friend kept getting up. I'm like, bitch, stay down. Stay down. Like, stay down. Because every time you get up, she gets you again.
That's right. But she beat up Amanda. Now, did Amanda literally worked at like an oil change place or something? And she is beating the shit out of her in the parking lot.
And no one is calling her. Like, it was just a fucked up situation, but it's highly hilarious to me. I know you don't like fighting, but I'll get a good.
No, I don't. I don't like fighting at all, but I do remember that. And also, I thought that's fake. I was like, no way, Amanda's into Marcelino.
No,
I thought that was fake too.
I think it was real.
Oh, awful.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get the black screen of death at the end that tells us Brittany is off parole and has been off drugs for 7 years. She currently lives in Florida, where she supports her 3 youngest children with her real estate career. She hopes to reunite with her 2 oldest children one day.
We hope that for you too.
I hope that for you too, because they're 18 and 19. So all they got to do is come to look for you and they can find you.
Yep.
Okay, I hope she's entered all her stuff into like 23andMe, Ancestry, and all that.
I'm sure she has.
Yeah, I hope she has. All right, let's move on to Quaylon. Quaylon Adams, 33. Now, I got real confused about, oh, you know what I forgot to show you? Oh, look at me. I have my slideshow and I forgot about it. Okay, look. All right, so that's the first mugshot.
Okay.
Look at the second one.
Ooh, yeah. Life had really hit her double hard there.
Look at that
huge difference.
Look at that difference.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's sad.
And she's so pretty either way, crackhead or not. And then we have her with the kids. Yes. So I know we have Giovanni, Zoila, and that other little boy had a funny name. What was it?
I want to say it was a play off of something with Marcelino's name. It sounded real boxer-like.
I was really about to say his name was like, is it Rocky? Is his name Rocky?
I don't think it's Rocky.
All right.
What was it?
Okay.
I'm thinking box or something.
Me too. Brittany and Marcelino kids. I'm Googling. Giovanni, Zoila, and Marciano.
Okay.
Rebel.
There we go.
Marciano, Rebel, Santiago. Rebel. They call him Rebel.
I think I was as close as I could possibly get between a play on Marcelino's name and a boxer.
He is, but they call him Rebel. That's right.
Gotcha.
That's right. Okay, got it. Okay, we're going to remove. Okay. So Quaylon. All right. So I got very, very confused because geography is another one of my things that I don't understand. And I do know that Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri are literally like the same city, but split down the middle by the state, right? So the Kansas City Chiefs are actually Kansas City, Missouri. Okay?
Okay.
But Kansas claims them because the city is split down the middle. But there was a lot of back and forth about Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri in this episode. So at one point, I just had to stop and like Google and like look at a map. I was like, I am as confused. And then at some point, they also showed it to us. And did I put that slide on here? I don't think so. That was stupid of me. Okay. So Quaylon tells us he thought stealing would lead to something light, like probation when he was younger. He didn't think it would take 12 years of his life. We get a timeline. He's also born in 1990, same age. 1990. 98, arrested for petty theft. No, 98, he's doing petty theft. He's 8. Petty theft. 2002, he moves to retail theft. 2003, he's moving to burglary. In 2008, he's moved on to armed robbery. Okay.
The evolution.
Now, it's bad. So, and unfortunately for him, he was 18 when he decided to go that route. So he says he grew up in Kansas and Kansas was off the chain. He's talking about Kansas City. He says there was tons of gang and drug activity and his mom didn't allow him to go to certain places or anything. His mom was super strict. And
I can believe that.
Yeah, strict in raising him because he was the only boy. He had the 3 sisters. And remember, the mom is Qualandria. Like I said, I'd like for that to be one of my middle names that you've given me.
Qualandria. It'll be next week. Oh, so they don't know about your middle name because we talked about on the Love is Blind.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So always in my head, I always give Mary Payne a Black girl middle name.
Okay.
All the time. So today, what was it? Mary Payne.
It was
LaQuanda, LaQuisha Gilbert.
It was like LaQuisha, I think.
LaQuisha Gilbert. So So each week I'll try to have a new one. Like in my head, I always give her a Black girl middle name. Don't ask me why. I just do.
Isn't that funny? Because like when we yell at the dogs, we give them middle names that they don't have as well.
Well, my animals do have middle names.
I know. Well, I said our dogs' middle names are both May, M-A-E, because they have the same mom. So
Oh,
they should both be Violet May and Ginger May.
okay.
But we just call them. Okay, so my husband's middle names and John's middle names are the same. It's
Okay.
David Murray Charles Gilbert, John Murray Charles Gilbert, because his dad is Murray Charles Gilbert. Gotcha. So whenever the dogs are in trouble, we're like, Ginger Murray Charles Gilbert, get over here. Yeah. Violet Murray Charles Gilbert. Yeah. All right. So Quaylon. Okay. He had 3 sisters. He's the second to oldest, 1 older sister, 2 younger sisters. His mom, he was the only boy. He didn't like being the only boy in the house, but his mom worked 2 to 3 jobs, and his dad went to the store and never came back.
Oh,
it's awful. And he said, as a boy looking for a father figure, you're always searching for something to fill that void.
Yeah. It's the same thing with Brittany.
Same thing. Same thing.
I don't think fathers, they need to realize how important they are in their children's lives.
Yeah. And when you go missing, it'll fuck up your kid, boy, girl, anything. Doesn't matter.
It really, yes.
Awful. So we meet Derek, his best friend, and they go to Derek's mom's house. Mm-hmm. Which, when they walked up to it, I was like, is this Chevelle's house? Because it looks exactly like Chevelle's house.
Just like Chevelle's house. Okay, I have to make a confession.
Okay. You were hot for Derek?
Ew. Oh. You know I like my men ginger looking.
I know.
I never, okay. So.
It's a confession. I'm ready for it.
It is a confession. And it's not a nice confession.
Okay, here we go.
But I could not get it out of my head.
Okay.
So we all know that Quaylon is from Chevelle and Quaylon.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And Chevelle is shaped like a box. And sometimes people have compared her to being like SpongeBob.
Yes, they have. Uh-huh. Okay. I have never said that. But some other people have said that. Yep.
Like Quaylon's mom did.
Uh-huh. Sure did. Sure did.
But I agree with her. I'm like, you are spot on. That bitch is SpongeBob with a wig. You are so right.
Okay.
But then on this episode, it never occurred to me how much Quaylon looks like Squidward.
Okay. Okay.
Look at it. The big old eyes.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Like, this was an episode. This was a SpongeBob SquarePants romance between the 2 of them.
Somebody else on one of our shows looks like Squidward, but I can't remember who that was.
All I know is that Quaylon and Chevelle could have won any Halloween contest just walking in as themselves, and everyone would say it's SpongeBob and Squidward. That's all I kept thinking about the whole episode.
All right. Okay.
Sad story, but it kept going right back to that. I was like, God damn, he really does look like Squidward.
Oh my gosh. And that crazy Facebook group that we're members of, they just couldn't, they were just besides themselves with about how Quaylon's gay. And of course he had to walk around with Derek because they're probably gay. I was like, okay, I just think this is his childhood friend. Everybody fucking relax.
Oh, I didn't see any of that. Yeah, but yeah, I think this is really his childhood friend.
They've known each other since they were like 5.
That's what it is. I mean, just because a guy might be gay doesn't mean that every guy he's around is gay.
I know, or that's his boyfriend or anything like that. So whatever.
But I tell you what was gay was that hat he had on.
I'm so sorry. Do you mean that?
That would be the one.
I had because this, speaking of Versace, this fake Versace shit he was wearing was real bad. The whole get up was bad.
It was bad. It was bad. Oh, it could not have been worse. No, it could have been worse if it actually said Versace or Fendi or whatever brand he was. Trying
to pretend.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just pulling up my map that I made of Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri. Okay, there it is. I'm not going to be able to add it to my slideshow, but I'll have it on my phone. All right. So we meet Derek. They go to Derek's mom's house. Now we meet a man named Bishop Tony Caldwell, a PhD community organizer. He got a lot of titles. Three titles.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And probably only one of them is accurate.
Well, I disagree. I think he seemed legit. And he says, I don't think it's like what's her name's parents, the bishop.
Zariah. Yeah. Zaria. Yeah.
The bishop and the pastor. Okay, so Bishop Tony Caldwell, PhD community organizer, says, You gotta give him all the titles. He says these kids are not mentored by any adults. They're mentored by the streets because they got a mom that works 2-3 jobs to keep food on the table, and they got a dad that disappears, and that's exactly what happens now. They're mentored by the streets. So Quaylon says he started making bad decisions at 7 or 8 years old, and he was doing all of it because his sisters were hungry.
That's so
and he
sad.
would ask them when they last ate, and it would have been the day before. And he said also, and his sisters needed shoes. So he would just go to the store and steal food, and then they would have food to eat. And one day he got caught getting groceries, and because he said he went from just sticking it in his jacket to just pushing a whole cart out.
I know that's a huge step.
Yeah. And one day he got caught, and his mom had to come get him, and it was awful. He remembers like being in that office, getting caught with the shoplifting. He was 9. Wow. And he says, but getting caught at stealing only made me better at stealing, which is
because you're like, well, I know not to just walk out with the cart full of groceries.
Yeah,
not in bags. Next time I'm going to make sure all my stuff's in bags and then walk out, And it's so sad because the poor thing was just trying to help his sisters out.
I know. It's really sad. So he says now he's 12 and 13, and he would steal whole carts of groceries and whole outfits instead of like just the shoes. Now he's getting the whole fit. I want to be like, did you steal that outfit you're wearing? Because
even if you stole it, you need to take it back.
You need to take it back and tell them they
so
need to pay
sorry.
you.
I stole this. I am really sorry. Here you go. My bad.
Please, you need to pay me to wear this. This is terrible.
Yes, it was bad.
Oh, okay. So, he says, now we're middle school and teenagers, and you go to school and you're wearing dirty shoes. The kids are going to laugh at you. So you got to steal some shoes so you don't have to wear dirty shoes. He says, but then I needed to find a way to get actual money. So at age 13, I would sneak into houses, find valuables, and it could be anything. It could be a watch. It could be a TV. And then I would sell them. And we see his mugshot, which says he's 69 inches, which he's 5'8". The first mugshot we saw, he was at 66. The next one we saw is at 69. So he went from
growing.
It was from 5'5" to 5'8".
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. The kid is 5'5". He's 12 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, nobody. Where was Reverend Dr. Bishop, PhD, community organizer Tony Bishop? Where was he? Tony Caldwell.
He was in school. He was in school.
Well, he probably was going to school like he's supposed to. Right?
Yeah.
To get in that PhD. So, Quaylon says stealing and making a clean escape was fun. It was fun. And maybe we do 2 at a time, depending on how we felt. But we did our homework the day before. We would see when the people were home, see when they were leaving, go around, knock on the windows and doors. Nobody would answer. We would do it. We'd do it during the day when people were at work or at school, and we'd case the houses pretty good. Here's a statistic. FBI says most home break-ins occur between 10 and 3.
10 a.m. and 3 o'clock because people are going to work. Kids are at school. To work.
Hey, nobody try to come over here. I'm home all fucking day. Okay.
There's always someone here.
Always somebody at this house.
Yes.
And you've seen my dogs, and they will.
Vicious.
Yes. The only thing the dogs bite is the vacuum cleaner. That's it. Okay. So
Marvel will bite.
Violet will bite. You saw me when I was trying to pick her up earlier. I was like, don't bite me.
You're like, don't Elvis Presley me.
Because she was
so in our house, we say, don't Victor me.
Oh, what does that mean?
So I don't know if you're a fan of Underworld.
Don't even know what that is.
You never say Underworld? So the people who know about Underworld, remember whenever Celine wakes him up and she's trying to explain something to her, he's like, so in our house, if anyone or anything does that, we're like, don't Victor me.
That is funny. No, we just say Elvis because she goes like,
yeah, that's funny.
She starts doing one little lip up. Yeah. Just showing teeth on one side. God, I look so ugly when I do that. So, all right. So he's driving around with Derek, telling him like, this is a good neighborhood to rob from. And they're, he's like, oh, I remember this house. We hit this house, whatever.
Right.
Oh, so he says there were 3 of them in their little gang. And Derek apparently wasn't in the gang. Derek's never heard any of this. He's like, whoa, what the fuck happened to you, man? So
he's like, my mama and my daddy was at home. Yeah, I was at Bible study, church group, Boy Scouts, all of these things. So, yeah.
He said, Quaylon just came to my house to shoot dice in the basement, taking some money off me.
And yeah, that's it.
So he says there were 3 of them in their little gang. One would kick the door in. One person sweeps the house to make sure nobody's hiding or there. And then all 3 would go around and bag up the valuables. And he said he was the kick-in king. I was like, okay.
I find that hard to believe.
Quaylon, man, you got some muscles we can't see because he seems pretty scrawny.
Maybe he had muscle. He's very scrawny.
Yeah.
But okay.
He says they probably robbed over 100 houses easy. And after 20 to 30 houses, they were confident because no one was stopping them. And then they got a little loose with it.
That's it. It always happens.
So they picked a house one day that one of the guys had an issue with the homeowner. Now, we don't know what the issue is, but he had an issue with the homeowner. So he and Derek go sit at a restaurant to eat. And he says this is where they would meet to map out their plan, like for the next day. Like, okay, the person seems to leave at this time, blah, blah, blah. So he tells them about that house, that particular bad night. And he was thinking when they were in the house, we've been in here too long. We've been in here too long. And the homeowner came home. Ooh. And so they all run. And he hears a loud boom, like a shotgun, boom, like a shotgun. And he doesn't know, but he's just running, right?
Right.
Statistic. Missouri law permits the use of physical force if a perpetrator is attempting to committing or escaping after the commission of a felony. So you are allowed to shoot somebody if they have robbed you. Okay. In Missouri. This is where I got confused with it because I was like, I thought we were in Kansas, but we're in Missouri. Now, let me just show you this. Okay. So
it is directly split right down.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. So when he did the crime, he was on the Missouri side.
Gotcha.
Okay. So that's why this is important. But when he went to the hospital, it was on the Kansas side. I looked up that hospital because I was like, I'm still confused. But that hospital is University of Kansas, state of Kansas. So it's across the border in Kansas.
So which is the good side or which is the bad side?
I don't know. I can figure it out.
Okay. All right.
So I was just very, very confusing. It's just sort of like sometimes if you're in where my kids used to go to camp near Chattanooga, Tennessee, when you go up the mountain, half the town is in Eastern time zone and half the town is in Central time zone.
Oh, no.
So that's whenever you make a plan or do anything, a doctor's way, anything, school, everything, you have to specify what time it is always.
No. That'd be too much for me.
Too much.
Look, we can barely get it together with the podcast and the time zone difference.
And it's 1 hour.
And it's 1 hour, 1 day a week.
I've got Brian Moylan coming up on my show in a couple of weeks, and he's in London.
Oh, good grief.
And I'm always like, you just tell me. I don't have no idea what time I can't do plus minus 5. It's 5 hours. Right. I don't know if it's they're ahead or we're ahead or I was like, you just tell me. Because I can't even do 1 hour. Okay. So, bobbity bop. So his buddy, the guy was shooting, and his buddy, one of his gang of 3, shot back at that guy. And Quaylon says, I realized I got hit. I got like this sharp pain in my back. So I ran over to my friend's house and they were like, damn, bro, you're bleeding all over the place. And he said, we didn't want to, but we had to call the ambulance.
Right.
And I told them I was walking to the store and I got hit. Yeah.
Okay. That sounds really believable. Well, I mean, it depends on where you live.
Right. But
yeah.
Okay. So now he and Derek are standing and he's showing him, where he got shot on his back. He said he had 14 holes in his back in a circular pattern because it was buckshot from a shotgun. That is, so it spread out.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
All right. So now we meet a surgeon who was real cute at the University of Kansas Hospital who says 14% of trauma patients are due from firearm injuries. Shotgun injuries especially are challenging because of the widespread damage.
Right.
It's not just one bullet hole. So then I write, University of Kansas is in Kansas City, Kansas. And Kansas City, Missouri and Kansas City, Kansas are 3 to 5 miles apart. So you could be in one and you could just walk right over to the other.
Yeah.
All right.
I just feel like they could have just changed
the name of one.
The name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It would be a lot easier.
Clearly, they just couldn't do that.
No, they just said it's so good. It's a city so nice. We named it twice. Okay.
Yeah.
So Quaylon says he was, for the surgery, he was cut open because there were 14 holes in him in a circle pattern. Yeah. And then after they cut him open, They had to put staples in him. He had 30 staples in his body. He thought he was going to die. He was just thinking about his niece who was just born. He was handcuffed to the hospital bed. Imagine trying to recover from surgery and you're handcuffed to the hospital, so you can't like roll over or anything.
Oh, that sounds uncomfortable.
And he was thinking about how his mom was going to be so mad at him
if he died. She was like, he was like, when I thought I was going to die, I was like, my mom's going to be. I feel the same way. I think if I died, my mom would beat the shit out of me.
That would be.
I really do. I think she'd be pretty pissed off at me if I died.
Make for a weird funeral.
Yeah.
So he was charged with armed robbery and he was facing 30 years in prison. He was charged with 2 Class A felonies and he was 17 years old as a first offender. He was sentenced to 12 years. So he caught his case in Missouri and had just turned 17. But if he would have caught the case in Kansas, 3 miles away, he would have been considered a juvenile and not done all that time.
That's crazy.
So they sent him to hard time prison as just turned 17.
A child,
and had to go do hardcore prison time.
Isn't that crazy how there's some people who are like 2nd-degree murder and they get less time than that?
Yeah, it's wild.
It is really crazy.
So, yeah, I mean, nobody died here, right?
Right.
And so,
I mean, he's the only fucker that got shot.
I know. I wonder if his buddy also got shot because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't hear anything about those other 2 guys. So he said he had a hard time in prison. He was fighting a lot. He was breaking rules. You have to grow up in there fast and like prove your worth. So we see him in 2019 when we first met him on the show. And he says, it's hard in here. You're around killers and people in here that have nothing to lose because they're never going home.
Right. That's scary.
And he says, I used to blame my dad for not being there for me. And I blame my mom for not being around enough. And at the end of the day, I knew right from wrong. And I've had a lot of self-reflection. And there's nobody to blame for this but me. We see his 2020 release, you know, with his mom and everything. They don't act like Chevelle didn't even exist.
Yeah. I love how they're doing that on some of these stories. Yeah.
Yeah. All of the stories. We haven't seen anybody. And he says he got out and I'm thankful for prison. I'm thankful for prison because it changed my life and people like don't believe me, but I'm thankful for it. You know, otherwise I would be dead.
Right.
So he and Derek go to the cemetery and they're like, we have too many people in here, too many people. And he says, I know without prison, I would be dead because I was very much in that. I don't give a fuck stage. I don't care if I get shot. I don't care. And he says he would really like to be a mentor to the youth because he had nobody to mentor him. And if he would have had somebody to tell him right from wrong, his life would have ended up differently if he just had a place to go, you know, like these boys clubs and stuff that take the kids after school. Like it's really important because they're meeting up with adults that can have somebody to look up to. Yeah.
Well, I don't think Quaylon is just ready to be a mentor because it was just last year.
Yeah.
He was caught in the motel room with a bag full of drugs, got arrested. He was cheating on his girlfriend and a whole bunch of other stuff. I think he needs about another good 4 years. Think he needs to study underneath the bishop, reverend, doctor, ordained minister,
Caldwell,
program director, community outreach supervisor, him for a little while, and then he can become a mentor. I think he got a little bit of work to do. That's just my opinion.
But did he get arrested for that, Quaylon?
He did get arrested.
He did?
Yeah, he got picked up by the police because the girl called the police on him because she was saying something like he hit her or something like that. We talked about it on the show.
I know.
So I'm trying to have to go. Yeah. He was doing illegal shit. Let's just put it that way.
All right, Quaylon. That's not great.
And neither was that outfit you had on.
No. I mean, listen.
No.
Never forget. Okay.
No.
So, okay. So Quaylon meets with Bishop Tony Caldwell, PhD, community organizer. And he says, I want to be a part of what you've got going on here. I want to be a mentor. So he goes and talks to the kids and he's like, reach one, teach one, you know, the whole thing. So then we see his ending card. Okay. So he's doing all this in Kansas City, Missouri, or Kansas. We're not sure, but he didn't even fucking live there. He lives
in Texas, doesn't he?
Texas. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we see his ending card. Quaylon lives in Dallas and is attending school to become a barber. Now,
wait, I didn't see any of that.
I don't know why you didn't see it. That's what's at the end. Maybe your TV cut it off. I don't know.
Oh, I know what it was.
Well, you're going to tell me later? You're going to tell me now?
I'd been with those kids all damn day. So, I had to come home and get a little bit of an edible.
Okay, I got you. All right. So you zoned out. You zoned out.
I need to start saying CBD.
Okay.
Instead of something illegal. Like I keep saying on the show. CBD.
Nobody's coming to your house. Okay. No, nobody go between 10 and 3. Nobody go between 10 and 3. She's home.
It's gonna be so. I'm home.
She's got mean dogs there. Okay. His ending card says, Quaylon lives in Dallas and is attending school to become a barber. He has been off parole since 2020. So if he got arrested and he was off parole, it doesn't matter. It's a fresh charge.
Okay. Then there we go. Right.
Now he has been trying to become a barber since we saw him on this show. So I don't think barber school takes more than like 6 months. What's he doing?
I mean, unless you're just really bad and they keep saying, no, you need to do another refresher course. No, I don't know what else he's doing.
Well, I don't like that they didn't mention his arrest. They could have just said, Quaylon lives in Dallas, is attending school to become a barber. He was arrested in 2023, charged with a misdemeanor, blah, blah, blah. He's been off parole since 2020. They could have put that in there. No biggie. Why didn't they tell us?
Yeah, and I also feel like they could have, for Brittany, although she did beat the living shitballs out of her friend, she was not arrested.
As seen on the show. Yeah.
As seen on the show. So I don't know why they didn't put that in there.
I don't either. I mean,
well, maybe it happened after they filmed it.
But it happened like a couple of years ago, that Quaylon thing, didn't it?
Was it a couple of years ago? Or was it last year?
I feel like it wasn't recent.
Really?
Listen, I don't know. They could have filmed this. They could have filmed this in 2021. We have no idea what is time in the matchup universe. We don't know.
Yes.
We don't know.
Yes.
Now, I really feel like I had something else I wanted to say here. Thinking. I said the thing about Cameo. You're also on Cameo.
Right.
I can't remember. We've told people Love is Blind is over on Pink Shade Crime. If you want to hear us together, of course, Keisha also has her own podcast, Libra Lounge with Keisha, which is very funny. So while I'm thinking,
I like to think so.
It's funny. Tell me what you're talking about over there this week.
There's a new show out right now. I don't know what we're going to talk about this week, but I do know we're going to have to talk about Kanye and Bianca's divorce because, ironically enough, we discussed them on our latest show. So there's been like a total update. So I got to do a deep dive into all of that too. We will be talking about that. And we also will have a 600-pound life recap.
Okay. That show's still on. I feel like that show's on forever.
Well, we do have an obese epidemic in our country. So I think as long as Dr. Now is alive, we're going to have a show. Yeah.
How many seasons have there been of that show?
Oh, there's a shit ton of seasons. I don't even know. I don't know. I do know I need to go to his office and take a picture in front of it.
Is he there in Houston?
He's in Houston. And do you know what James told me? He goes, let's just go there one day and get a picture. I'm like, he fucking is at work. He can't just stop what he's doing. Oh, there's someone in the office who wants to take a picture with me. No, you're not about to get me cussed out by Dr. Now because Dr. Now goes real slick, real quick on people. Like, no, we're not doing that.
How old do you think Dr. Now is?
He's 80.
He's 80. I just looked it up. Dr. Now, which is he's
Nazarudin.
Dr. Yodan Nazarudin. Wow.
And Mary Payne.
When he gets from Syria.
When he gets his hair freshly dyed black, he always looks a little bit taller to me. I love it when he does that. He just looks taller. I just love it. I love that man.
Did you know Dr. Now was married from 1975 to 2004?
Yes. Yeah, and then got divorced.
He got divorced. You got 29 years of marriage. Look at that math. Look at that math.
I tell you what, y'all. If podcasting, if she gets tired of podcasting, she is most definitely got a job as a mathematician. Okay? She does.
Well, why did he divorce her after 29 years?
I feel like maybe she may have divorced him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just what I'm thinking. Yeah.
All right. When I typed in Dr. Now, the first thing came up. Is Dr. Now going to retire? That was what it is.
I mean, he's pretty. I give him a couple more years because I don't know if you ever watched Dr. Pol. We didn't think Dr. Pol was ever going to stop his show either. And he was like, he's in his 80s as well.
Dr.
So,
Pole? Pole?
you don't know Dr. Pole?
No, what was his doctoring for? What was he doctoring?
He's a vet, a country vet.
Oh, no, I don't know
Yes.
about the country vet. Oh,
And there's like
goodness.
1,000 seasons of the incredible Dr. Pole. Yes.
I don't even know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know about Underworld. I just
Look, after watching all the seasons of Dr. Pole, I know in my head I could birth a calf.
Oh,
I can
you
do
know
it.
that my nephew that's a cowboy, he does that all the time.
I think I could do it too.
Yeah, he's always like,
Just
"Yeah,
just just from that, just from the show, I think I can do it.
gotta go help birth a baby." I'm like, "Wow, Harrison, go for it."
Right?
Um, all right, everybody. That's it for our show. I know I had something to announce and I completely forgot what it is.
Do you have a special guest coming up this week on your show?
What on earth? Why would I have forgotten? So let me tell you what is coming up this week on this show. And you're going to love this, Keisha. So I
Oh,
just
okay.
have the regular
I
stuff,
love
right?
loving things.
We've got the new OG 90 Day Fiance is coming up. That's going to be recapped on Tuesday with Kimberly. We're still doing Love is Blind. 7, 8, 9 will be out on Friday. Covering Last Resort. That comes out Friday with Amy. And what I am covering for my Thursday Pop and Bravo episode, I'm covering an ID channel show that everybody has to watch. Okay. It's on the ID channel, and I believe it is on Monday night, tonight.
Okay.
Monday night. It's called The Curious Case of the Doomsday Cat Cult.
Okay, so I saw that advertised, and I remember the woman goes, I knew it was a cult whenever they brought in the cats.
The Doomsday Cat Cult. So they would make people adopt as many cats as they could. So people would have 20, 30, 40 cats in their house. Because like somehow adopting all these cats, like we're making, it was a cult. It was a cat cult. So I'm covering that. That'll be the Thursday episode. So everybody watch that show Monday night, ID channel, The Curious Case of the Doomsday Cat Cult. Covering it with Chris DeRosa, who is so damn funny. He is so funny. And I can't wait to make fun of that show with him.
A cat cult. Just when you thought you heard it all.
I know. So yeah, they started off the Curious Case of Natalia Grace, and then they spun it off, and they've done like Bam Margera. They've done all sorts of things. I haven't watched any of the other ones other than that Natalia Grace.
So I have not watched the Bam one, which if you are a fan of the Libra Lounge for Keisha, I would always have a Bam report.
Yeah, you loved it.
Always do something. Yeah. And I have not watched it yet.
I heard it was great.
Like, have you watched it? Yeah, everyone's like, have you? Yes. I'm like, I haven't seen. Sometimes we get bombarded with shows.
Right, currently.
And we don't even get to sit down and watch the ones that we really want to watch.
I haven't been able to watch White Lotus, Yellow Jackets. Yeah, I'm obsessed with Yellow Jackets. I haven't been able to watch that. So because we're flying Thursday and going to be out of town and stuff, I'm like just going to be download, and catch up with everything.
Yeah. One of my friends said, so since y'all have to watch so much TV, does it like take away from the entertainment value of it? Sometimes I'm like, sometimes it does. Sometimes it does.
Yeah, it's okay though. We still love it.
Okay. We still love it. We're still entertained by it. Yeah. Sometimes they just don't fool us like they used to it once upon a time. Our eyes are not so innocent anymore.
I know, especially mine, because sometimes you will be believing stuff that's not true. Yeah, he's just a little more gullible. All right, everybody, that is our episode, and I'll be back tomorrow with 90 Day OG with Kimberly. We can't wait to talk about a new season of that, and I'll see you guys on Friday with Keisha for Love is Blind. Bye. Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.